Welcome to Visually African's music video review. In this review, ndichange nchitarisa music video ya Do Major. The name of the track is called Uchandida iwewe. Uchandida iwewe, which I think loosely translates to "You're going to love me." You know, one day you're just going to love me. You might be walking out the door right now. Yeah, but one day you're going to love me. And what we have here on our screen at this moment is our mbinga of the moment, and this is Do Major. So in this review, what I will do is I'll start off by encouraging you to follow the link. There's a link that's either above this video. Oh, this is not too visible. Is it visible? Okay, let me see. What color would work best for this? Maybe if I try yellow. Okay, so as I was saying, there's a link that's either available above or below, depending on where you are, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. This review is going to be on a lot of places. So follow the link that will take you straight to Do Major's video. You need to watch the video so that you actually get some of the stuff that's happening. In this review, there won't be any audio. It's just going to be me talking and silent pictures moving. Like I said before, the name of my blog is Visually African, and I'm someone who loves visuals. So let's get started. Do Major, Uchandida iwewe. Right, I need to state that Do Major recently won an award. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I don't know how I forgot. So this is not an award. It's looking like a trophy. It's not a trophy. No, the Zim Hip Hop Award has got a thing, a Zim bird of some sort and a star of some sort, and then it does something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so Do Major, here's your award. He won an award at the Zim Hip Hop Awards for Best Alternative. And I really love alternative rock, alternative anything. So I hope I won't be biased as I review this video. Now, let's get started. I'll talk about this before we even go anywhere. Right, Yellow Anguyaya is now struggling to come out here. It's not coming out well. Anyway, like I was saying, I need to review, break down things, and give credit where credit is due. Say the bad, say the good. And the reason why I do these reviews is because our artists are putting in a lot of work in these music videos, you know. They are working hard. They are working with no to little resources. Some of them have more resources than others, but nonetheless, they are all working hard. And as a blogger, I'm here to applaud them, yeah? And I'm also here to give a little bit of hints and pointers on areas that future videos for other people can be improved on, you know. So this isn't just a message to Do Major or to the person who edited his video. I mean, the video is done. It's done. It's already out there, you know. But I want our artists to know that we appreciate the work they're doing. And this is why I'm going to spend like 20 minutes or so just talking about this video. So having said that, it was about to turn into like a soapy with me crying and going, we love your work, and man, you're really working hard. Yeah, I will not cry. I will review with dry eyes. Right, as I was saying, I need to talk about this right here. As we get down to business now. Personally speaking, I'm not a super fan of, this thing that's done in Hollywood TV shows or movies where a text message comes in and then they animate a graphic pop-up where you read the message from this pop-up like, what sounds do messages make? I don't know. You know, and then another message comes in, and then another one comes in, and then another one comes in. I'm not a fan of these interfaces that are overlaid on top of, like on top of videos or whatever it is. Having said that, I also need to applaud how cleanly it was done here. You know, it's clean. I might not be a fan of it, but they didn't try and overdo it, you know. But I'm also now a bit suspicious. Here, if you look here, this is Do Major's robe, right? It's going here, da, da, da. There's a black spot here, if you can see it. I need to change colors. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. There's a black spot here. It's almost as if there's a window or a doorway. And the lighting on his face and the look on his face, I know that when you've got a selfie screen, a selfie camera on, images flip. So left becomes right and right becomes left, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. But I think this might not be a live feed of what was happening here. So I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so that's the first thing I've noticed right off the bat. But the one thing I need to applaud Do Major, and I say Do Major as if he's the one who edited the video, but for the purposes of simplicity, I can't say like every single name. Like if his makeup was done by Gamu or by Precious, I can't say I want to applaud Precious for it. It would take me long to dig up every name of every person who was involved, the name of the guy who did the lighting, the name of the guy who did the editing, the name of the guy who uploaded the video, the name of the guy who wrote the lyrics. Or, you know, if I do that for every single video, it would take me a while, like, to make these videos. So for simplicity, I would just say Do Major did a good job in making this clean, right? But I also want to applaud him for getting right down to business quickly. Now, it's a common thing when it comes to Zim artists that before the video starts, so you've got a video here and you want to do the video, sometimes they will give you like, how do I say this? Like an intro. It used to be 10, 15 seconds long. But if you look on more videos, you'll find that sometimes it gets to 40 seconds, right? Sometimes it can get to like a minute or more, you know? And it's good to have those intros. To some extent, it's good. But sometimes those intros that we get in videos, they make it difficult to re-watch a video. And I mean, as an example, with Happy Again, Winky D's Happy Again, I love the video. But personally speaking, as a personal preference of mine, the intro that we have on Happy Again is too long for me, such that each time I try to put the video on repeat, right? I want to repeat the video. I just want to skip the intro because I really want to get to the meat of the song, you know? For me, the song starts off when he's like, it's not money, but I'm not talking about Winky D. I'm talking about Do Major in this moment saying, well done for restraining yourself and not doing an intro that's going to be longer than it should be. Right. I'm struggling to clear this up. Let me clean up the screen. Right. Here we are. And like I said before, we're now beginning. Wow, this intro is longer than it needed to be. Watch the video, listen to the song, get the lyrics, get the message. Here, we're just looking at visuals. Right. Pause. Right. One good thing that was done here was, if you look here, I now have to speed up because I'm on like 10 minutes almost. If you look here, one really good thing that was done here was you've got a different name, right? Emily 21, you've got like all these different names, different emojis, all the details looking good, right? And I don't know how it was done, but all I can say is it was done beautifully, right? Because each profile pic is different from what I can see right now. And I've said enough about that. So what's next? Let me just... Oh, I need to clear that. Good. Right. So let's continue. It's really nice how it's changing the outfits, because for us, we're just seeing a new outfit after like 10, 15 seconds, But for him, these outfits aren't just, coming out like that. So it's good that artists are putting the effort to make their images more snappy and quick. Like I said, music videos are not change when you now consume them like this with no audio. And this is what I'm all about. VisuallyAfrican.com wants to get our artists to a stage where the visuals, despite the audio, the visuals need to be good. And having said that, I need to just check something here quickly, because I noticed that we now have 1, 2, 3 screens, which now makes things very interesting for me. Right, let me check here. So we've got this picture. It says it's so cool. Let me go to the next screen. Is there anywhere where it's also saying it's okay? So it comes back here. Okay. I'm trying to check the amount of, and then it comes back here. So this message here has popped up 3 times. There, and there. And that's something you need to be cautious of. Even the one that's saying very good, and the one that's saying very good here, and the one that's saying very good here. Now, I don't know how this was made. I don't know, or what software or whatever was used. But what I'm trying to get at here is, let me clear this. Right, I've cleaned up everything. What I'm trying to get at here is that the same messages wouldn't have appeared at the same time if, let's say, for example, if let's say, I don't know how many messages are in a line. So here are our messages. Let's say they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think they might have like 8 or 10 messages. I don't know how many messages they have cycling in these loops, right? If you make the effort to go from, let's say, 10 messages and you go to 15 or 20 messages, you might find that, and like I said, this is me speaking without knowing how this was achieved. But because right now we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 messages, and there are other messages below this. So there are probably, I don't know, maybe 3 more messages or 5 more messages below this. But if you increase from 10 messages to 15 or 20, these repetitions where it's so cool appears on all screens, these ones might not happen if you have more messages in your chain. It's a lot of work, but when the viewer consumes your video, the modern day viewer is now, they're now people who appreciate. They now notice things, So, yeah, that's a point I needed to throw out there. But having said that, the floor, the outfits, everything here is good. Right? Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, I love how the color of this, it might be black, but in my eyes, it's kind of looking like a dark green. How that complements the robe. Good. That's good. Star right there. And it's those little things, those very little things are appreciated by the eye. Sometimes people's brains cannot tell you that Apawagona, you've done a good. Oh, this is nice. Good. Let me go back here quickly. Yeah. Like I was saying, sometimes when people see something nice, they might not be able to put a finger on it. They just look at something and say, this is nice. Like, for example, I love how there's no noise or anything disrupting this framing, right? But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the timing. There's a shadow here. And when you're doing music videos, you have a small window to work before the sun either comes up or goes down. And for you to use this balcony, ukakwira kombe ukanonoka kusvika ku location, by the time you get there, if you're late and you're not time conscious, the shadow might be that high. Oh, oops. Right. The shadow might cover the hallway, like cover the entire entrance, and you won't get this lighting that's nice. But in our case, timing was good. The shadow is here, and it's not really affecting our artists. So that's good. Right. But there was something else that I came back for. Yes, this. I'd seen this Pandambo Pura Nepo quickly. I saw this, and I love the way she executed her gesture. Sometimes when you're doing a video and you've got these extras or the dancers or whoever, you have to be careful to get someone who can execute the thing. You don't just pick up the phone and say, hey, sis, to your sister, can you come over and do this video? Because sometimes they might not be the best person to do the 2 seconds or 5 seconds of whatever it is that needs to be done. They might not be the best person for that. But when I saw this in passing quickly before I rewinded back and lost focus and ended up talking about the shadow, when I saw this, it flowed nicely. You know, like, it's just, she has a bounce to it. And I know people might end up saying, dude, enough already. But such little details need to be appreciated, you know, because music videos aren't always about explosions. When we see these things that are so subtle and so little and yet flowing correctly, we need to acknowledge that it might have taken 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, retakes to get it to look as smooth and as bouncy as it's looking. So let's just pass by one more time. I don't know if I rewinded back far enough. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this was the moment we had paused when we started the review. And the reason why we're paused here is that I needed to highlight that Do Major is really good when it comes to doing some minute things with his face, with his mouth, and so on. So check after he counts the money. Just look at that. Now that's a very charming look into the camera. Okay, there's something I need to talk about. It's not a big negative, but I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know. I mean, it's true, we have these in our homes. They are there, it's a reality. But I don't know how I feel about it there. I've seen it. I didn't see it in this shot before, like on our timeline. This is our timeline. And right now we are almost halfway. I saw it in previous shots. And I kind of ignored it, but it keeps coming back, and I don't know how I feel. And if I'm going to say that, I might as well point out that there's also this here. This is not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. But sometimes when you have, and we have an appliance here, sometimes when you have certain appliances, and like I said, I'm not putting it as a negative yet, but you need to be cautious of things that are plugged in or plugged out, or appliances that are in the background, whether it's a TV, even though the room has the TV there. If the TV is not working, feel free to move it and delete it. Not delete it. Feel free to move it out of the frame. And this for me might have, like over here, might as well have been out. Here it's not as visible, but there was another shot where it was more visible, you know. And if this was a photo, like just a basic photo for a photo shoot or whatever, and I was a photo editor, I would have photoshopped this out, and I would have photoshopped this out if it was a photo. But this is so that we can have a nice flat wall. And I'm trying to see, is this a pipe? Is this a cable? I don't know. And if, like, once again, if this was a photo, I would have also photoshopped this out. But this is not a photo, this is a video, so removing these things is a very difficult task and unnecessary. But I'm just pointing this out for the purposes of people noticing. I don't know if this is Door Major's phone. If it's his phone, then it's okay. But people, and in this case, this goes out to the videographer. The videographer, the cinematographer, or the person behind the camera has to be quite cautious. Whenever ponobatidza camera, don't just look at this charming face here. Be cautious of every single item there, out there in the background. Small things that could easily be moved. In this case, if this is his phone, if this is Door Major's phone over here, it's not an issue, it's fine. Because the phone has been used in the video in previous scenes, so it's okay. But if it hadn't been used, this would be a big no-no, you know, because sometimes when you're on a set, munombo plug ama phone enyu, you plug in your phones and you charge your phones so that you can call the taxi when you're done with the video shoot. And in this case, it's not such a scenario because the phone is an active participant in the video. We saw it being used when we had the screens, the 3 split screens. We saw it being used when he opened this video. So if, and I'm not saying it's his phone, I don't know, maybe it's just a buri ripa sofa, I don't know. But anyway, I don't think it is. It looks like there's literally something that's there. And this is me now moving on, because this video has gotten longer than it needed to be. I try to make these videos 20 minutes long. Now we're on 21 minutes, and we need to come back to something. Remember, I praised this the gesture that was done before. Another thing to watch out for in videos, because this scene right now, I think we are somewhere about here, you know. So this is where this is the timeline here. This is the timeline of our video. This is where the video started. This is where the video ends. And we are round about here somewhere, you know. And we now have this lady back in a shot that looks almost identical to the previous one. It's not really identical, but what I'm getting at is whenever you've recorded a scene and then you record a different scene and record a different scene, be careful not to reuse your scenes too much unless they are bringing in something new. What do I mean by that? Let me rewind. Right? And play. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Right. See? That scene where the girl was, it passed so quickly. And it didn't bring back something that wasn't already introduced in the first moment that that I first praised it. Nothing new was introduced. It's okay if she would have walked out. Like, if she would have looked at him, did a hand flick to say, and snabasaneo, you know, I don't care about you, and then walked out of the set and, let me delete this. There's something here. I'll come back to that. It's not a negative, but I need to highlight it so that I'll come back to that. Anyway, so what I'm saying here is this new insert of it didn't give us anything new. In fact, it's an inferior version of the one that I had praised before. And if she had moved out, because the song is titled, and this is another thing to be cautious of with songs, song titles and messages, you know. So the song is titled Uchandida, iwewe, and it's a Door Major who's saying to her, Uchandida, iwewe. At some point in time, I'm assuming she left him. So having her walk out of the scene, even if she's not necessarily walking out of the music video, having her go, unebasare, you know, why would I care about you, you know, and then walking off the scene would have given us something new. But this, like I said, feels like a recycled scene, in a recycled shot. even though it wasn't really recycled, it's different from the previous one. The previous one was more superior. So anyway, let me go back to what I would have said here. It's not a negative, but when I saw this, something came into mind. Always be cautious of your own equipment, and like I said, it's not a negative. But I was reminded of a video I saw somewhere where a tripod came out, and like I said, this is not a tripod. But whenever you're recording your own equipment, I'm now getting tired. It's 25 minutes long. I need to wrap up this review. But like I was about to say, whenever you're recording videos, I mentioned that people must be cautious of their own phones, because sometimes you put your phone per charger and then you leave it charging. Be cautious of that. It's a big no-no. Be cautious of equipment. And sometimes, even when something is not equipment, once again, always make sure you don't have things that might distract. Because when I was saying she'd walk out here, the first thing that came into mind, I asked myself, what is this? And when things are coming into the shot, like this one, this frame here, this is beautiful. It's in the shot. It's not in the shot fully, but there's a tip enough for me not to worry about it. I don't worry about it because I can see the frame. But here, I'm thinking, what is this? If I'm being overly critical. And like I said, this is just something I needed to highlight. It's not really a negative. It's not even negative at all. Right, so here we go. I love this. I love this shot for this, for these items here. Scouting things is very important, If Door Major was standing here, it's the same building. And if they were charged money, for this venue, it's the same money. But if he was standing here on B instead of here on A, I'm not sure if the camera would have captured these. So sometimes you get locations that might look underutilized because you picked the wrong door, Instead of standing here, you stood there. And when you stood there, you deprived us of this detail here, I love how the sky, the color of the sky is sort of like tinted into these white items here. This is beautiful. Right, so let's move on. Unfortunately for you, I can't sing. If I could sing, I would sing the song for you a little bit, Yeah, so I've already commented. Nice. Oops. Right. Anyway, let me go back. There was a pop-up there in... Yes, that's nice. This is nice. The way he was just combing his beard there, the mouth gesture. I said it before, like, Door Major knows how to deliver these subtle emotions, And I encourage you, if you haven't listened to the song, click the link that's in the description. You are missing out on what's being said, and you're also missing out on how perfectly this shot was placed in terms of the audio that's happening and the visual we're seeing. Right, let's proceed. Let me try scrubbing through. Okay, right. So now we have a new shot coming up. The reason why I had to now scrub through was because if I make this any longer, it will become unwatchable, right? So this new setting introduces the different lighting, and I need to applaud them for how they've handled phones in this video. They did a good job handling phones, because if you look here, you can see that it's not just a dead screen. It's a screen where I think the phone is either ringing or it's already talking or she's waiting for the person to answer. But it's a screen that you would get if you were trying to make a call or in the middle of the call or something, right? So that it's really good. They've handled fonts really well in all aspects. When they had this the screen where Do Major was split into three, that was handled beautifully. When we started the video and Do Major had a selfie camera on and we're seeing a thing there, I had a few pointers to that, a few areas of concern, but overall that opening scene was clean, right? And now as we look at this here, I don't know how I feel about it, because part of me feels like this is the same room, the same location, and the same day. And I feel like the light was added in to try and make it feel like a slightly different location, or to so that the video isn't too flat. No pun intended, because they were in a... Okay, let me move on. So the video isn't too flat, but what we're seeing here makes me wish they had taken an extra day. I feel, maybe I'm wrong, I feel like this video, the entire video, was shot in one day, right? And it's how a lot of our videos are done, because it's expensive to shoot something over 3 days or 2 days even. You know, you just need to get it done in one day. But what I need to say is that if they'd done 2 days instead of 1 day, it allows the videographer or the cinematographer to go back home. It allows him the opportunity to go back home, to watch the footage of the day. And if he had an opportunity to watch the footage of the day, he would have potentially chosen a different location, an easy location even, you know, which would have been drastically different, which would overly help your video, because your video is going to be on the internet for the rest of your career, you know. So taking that extra day could do wonders to the final product, right? I'm making this longer than it needed to be. Dun, 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 dun. So because of how long it is, there are a few things that I'm going to be silent on. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. This is nice. I love this, because I don't know whether we've got a drone flying here and recording them. I don't know. The picture is I need to change the color of my pen. Maybe if I try white, right? So the picture here is clean. If it's a drone, I don't know if it is. If it's a drone, this is a drone that is, because when you have a drone, they've for those that might not know this, when you have a drone, they have cameras attached to them, right? And the cameras vary in quality. If this is a drone, it's got a good camera quality, based off how I'm seeing his face and based off the detail. But I don't know if it's a drone. Maybe there's someone like a rembe up a balcony or something. I don't know. Or they've got the camera tied to a stick and it's dangling, and someone is in the apartment and hoping that it doesn't drop his Nikon or Canon or whatever, you know. So I don't know how they did this, but it's beautifully done. And they addressed a problem that happens with the drone shots. So even if this is not a drone, I'm going to refer to it as a drone shot, right? So they addressed problems that usually happen with the drone shots. Drone shots usually suffer from poor lighting. But when I see here, I see this shadow. They managed to place a light, probably somewhere here, and they placed the light, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but then they placed the light at a point where it's not coming out in the shot, so it's down here. It's far enough not to be seen in our shot, but at the same time, it's close enough to light his face and give us a nice shadow. But so far that you don't see it here. And it's not just about seeing it. Sometimes if the light was too close, you would see chimwechi brightness up. You see like this over brightness here. Maybe because the light is a bit too close. That's impressive. Right. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, okay. This keeps coming back. This keeps coming back. And I keep wondering how I feel about it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about this. And like I said, these are things that we have in our homes. It's true. We have them to top up our electricity. And yeah, unless I'm wrong, but it looks like that's the thing. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about it there. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, yeah, something new. Wait. I just saw a new shot just now, and it cut off. I I feel like they didn't give that previous shot enough time, because when this is your timeline, right? And when you're taking shots and putting them into your timeline, and then taking a second shot and then you put it into your timeline, you need to give them breathing room, so that it's not like your shots are not like ta 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 ta. They need to be ta 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 ta. You know, not. I felt like that moment was a bit too ta 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 ta. Like the previous shot passed too quickly. Yeah. Let me try and see, and it's not back yet. Okay, now it's back. So this was what passed quickly. I hope it won't pass as quickly, and I'm loving it. I love how the colors that everyone has seem to be working well together, right? My hope is that this is not the, how do I phrase what I want to say? Okay, let me push back and start again. I love people who come into a video after it was planned. And I hope this is the case, that it was planned. And it's not a case of, because I've seen situations like that. I've been at shoots where you're shooting a commercial or a music video, and I'll be just there sitting on the side observing as people are working, doing their thing. And sometimes you get instances where the person who's renting the place to you has been standing there all day, and then he goes, boys, this is one video. If that ever happens in any of your videos, my recommendation is it should be a no, you know. Things must always be planned and catered for, you know, because the last thing you want is that gentleman who randomly got into your video to end up suing you or something, or end up saying, hey, can you delete that video, or can you delete me out of your video 3 years later, you know, because of ABC, you know. It's something you need to be cautious of. So my hope, like I'm saying, I hope this guy is truly part of Door Major's crew, and is part of the music project, and is not the guy who's renting them the flat that they did the video in. And I hope like all of them are on par, because like I said, some of the videos we get in Zimbabwe have random faces and random people in the background. And sometimes, I know we haven't had issues like that, but like I've said before, these videos we're making will be on the internet for a long time. And 5 years from now, you don't want this guy to be running for president and coming back to you and say, can you delete that video of yours, you know? But if he's truly part of your crew, then he'll be like, yeah, no problem, you know, let's do this, you know. And even if he runs for president or whatever, he's not going to come back and change his mind. So yeah, that's that's not necessarily directed at Door Major, but it's an overall comment on the music industry and the creation of footage to anyone who does any visuals. Okay, 40 minutes. I'm going to avoid saying, this needs to be, you know, timing. I remember when we had the building and Do Major was standing somewhere there, and there was a shadow that was right about there. And I said, this is really good, because if Do Major was late to his shoot, if he was late and not a punctual person, the shadow would have gone above the door and they wouldn't have been able to use that because he would have been too dark. Now, having said that, applauding the timing, right? So that's good, brilliant, well done, timing on this scenario. Ndiripa topic your timing, let me say. I need to put, this is nice. I don't know what time of day they needed to get on set, but for them to catch what I think is the sun, is the moon? No, I think it's the moon. Because if it's the sun, it would have been much brighter. Hey, I can see people laughing at me in the comments, going, dude, you can't tell the moon from the sun. But it's now 40 minutes, so I might be alone by now. Yeah, so anyway, whatever that is, I think it's the moon. It's beautifully placed. Well, not placed, but shot, because they didn't place it there. Yeah, so this is now the end of the video. If you stuck around this long, thank you so much. I'm impressed. Send me a message. Inbox me a message if you stuck around this long, and just let me know that you were there. I will send you a t-shirt when I have t-shirts. Anyway, cheers. Well done, guys. This was my review. My name is Tafadzwa, and I'm sorry I made this longer than it should have been, but hey, you learn. You know, this is a new concept for me. And once again, follow the link, listen to the song, even if you already know the song and you've listened to it before, you've watched the video before. Now you have the opportunity to go back to it and see if I was fair or not. www.visuallyafrican is the name of my blog. My name is Tafadzwa. And well done, Do Major. And congratulations, I need to say one more time, congratulations on winning the Best Alternative at the Zimbabwe Hip Hop Awards. Zim Hip Hop to the world. Yeah, those neta mna net. Cheers.